Yo, what is up, gamers, casuals, and all you beautiful souls out there? It's your boy, the tarnished, the good, the fresh, Thamziri. Hope you guys are good. Hope you've been having a dope week. Here to bring you episode 35 of the weekly patch notes. Joined with me today is Kid Kojo. Good, homie.
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm Gucci, dog. I'm Gucci. Young Max will not be joining us for this episode, but he will be back in the next one. And but don't worry, we're gonna cover everything that he needs us to cover to bring it to you guys. There's some very some very big information leaked. I'm not trying to give it away. I'm really not trying to give it away. But yeah, we're gonna be giving you guys some gaming tidbits and a whole lot of information. So sit back, relax, and give us a like and subscribe as our belief, supporting us. And also just tell your friends, tell your cousins, your co-workers, whoever. But anyways, before we get into the nitty gritty, Kojo, do you have any admin, bro?
Nah, none.
I bet. My only updates, and I won't get like too hectic into this. So a lot of you guys have been wondering. I say a lot of you guys, even though it's like only those who used to watch, but you guys may have remembered in the very first part of the podcast, I was still a streamer and content creator. And for those of you follow me on Twitter would have seen 2 weeks ago, I put out a tweet that showed my OBS Stream Elements, software open on my PC with the new Thamziri design saying 2024 with an ellipsis. It received a whole lot of good, it received a whole lot of positivity. See, my English bundles. It received a lot of positivity, so it makes me really happy. So thank you guys so much for engaging with that, and I'm keen to see that people are excited. So for those of you who don't know, I used to stream on Twitch, since like 2018, and I didn't exactly retire at all. Like I just took a huge break. Contract of mine ended in March this year in 2023, and so I took a huge break. Been enjoying life, really it really opens your eyes when you take a huge break like that, like 100%. I will get into I can get into more of it, I guess, but not in this episode. But I'll get into more as to why I took my break. But me raising this right now is just to tell you guys that yes, I will be coming back to streaming next year, 100%. I know there were moments where I kind of swore it off, but yeah, that's the big admin that I had to give. But anyways, moving on. And everything that we discussed, we'll put the links in the description so you won't miss out on any of the information that we discussed today. But without further ado, let's get into it. Starting with the gaming news. Okay, so Max did give us a little something to give to you guys for the gaming news, and that has to do with Xbox having a giant leak. Okay, so I want to actually start out when it actually happened, which I'm really just going to read the article here, guys. Okay, I'm not going to get into it too hectically. Again, in the description you can get the link. But anyways, all right, so Phil Spencer, right, in case those of you don't know who he's the Xbox boss, right? He officially addressed the entire leak that happened in a tweet that said, "We've seen the conversation on old emails and documents. It is hard to see our team's work shared this way. So much has changed and there's so much to be excited about right now. And in the future, we'll share the real plans when we are ready." Right. So just to give you guys some more insights on that. So Phil Spencer had then responded to the whole massive Xbox leak via the court documents. So late on September 18th of 2023, the court documents related to the FTC versus Microsoft case somehow randomly hit the web, detailing Xbox's future plans. The documents contained confirmation of the upcoming Series X and S console refresh, the outed plans for Oblivion remaster, and featured email correspondences between Spencer and other Microsoft execs. Suffice to say, this incident constitutes the biggest gaming-related leak of the year, And with everyone combing through the finer details, it was only a matter of time before the boss, Spencer, and the rest of the company had to speak out. So a whole lot of that you guys can go read up upon in the article. But yeah, that's just the news on it that we have right now. I'm sure in the next episode on the admin or update section, Max can give some more information if necessary. But yeah, so all of this was pretty much disclosed because of a mistake, which obviously sometimes is hard to believe. But yeah, I mean, the fact that it happened, it obviously may shake people's trust, I guess you could say, in the company, but we'll see. All right, Coach, besides the Xbox news, do you have anything else on your side?
Yeah, I've just got a handful of things. So let's get into it. So the first news we have is concerning a game called Evil Dead, the game. Now, people who know Evil Dead is a cult movie franchise starring Bruce Campbell as Ash Williams. If they fight against the undead, I believe. I'm not too familiar with the movie series, but they made a game which launched last year, May, and they announced recently, this past week, on the 19th of September 2023, they announced that they're ceasing development on new content for the game. So they're not going to be supporting the game with new content anymore, but they're going to keep the service up and address any issues. So maybe if there's a game breaking bug, they'll patch it, but they've ceased development on the game. And usually when live service games like this cease development, people always wonder what led to the seizure of the development. And some people say it's because of low player numbers. They didn't gain the traction it needed. They didn't sell copies. They didn't, that kind of stuff. But hopefully this doesn't lead to layoffs, which usually when a game, not usually, but sometimes when a game, they say they're not developing the game anymore or content anymore, sometimes it leads to layoffs because they're like, okay, certain people's jobs are no longer needed. Speaking of layoffs, brilliant segue into our next topic. Embracer Group, who we've all spoken about a number of times on this podcast, they are having troubles. They've been having troubles. Last week we spoke about Gearbox and Embracer, I believe. Now, Embracer is having trouble with Crystal Dynamics. Crystal Dynamics are known for the Tomb Raider series. And it's come out that 10 employees have lost their jobs due to a quote-unquote internal restructuring program. So it's a shame. Again, this past year, we've reported on people losing their jobs, studios closing. It's not a fun topic to talk about. People losing their jobs. The gaming industry can be very volatile. One day you're on top of the world, next your game flops, and it's a shame. So hopefully these people land on their feet again, get jobs, and are able to continue to do what they love, which is making games. And hopefully Embracer can get their stuff together. But this is what the post said, and it said, and I quote, Crystal Dynamics made the difficult decision to part ways with 9 brand and marketing and 1 IT employee today due to an internal restructuring to align the studio with our current business needs. We are working directly with the affected staff to support them, end quote. So hopefully Crystal Dynamics are true to their word and they stick to it. Now, speaking of game flops, let's talk about a game called the Callisto Protocol. I don't know if you've ever heard of this game. Tommy?
Is that the one where we solve puzzles? Wait, is that the one where the main cover of the game is a robot holding a cat?
No, that's the Talos Principle.
Okay, then no, I do not know this.
Yeah, so the Callisto Protocol came out. It was highly anticipated because of the people behind it. It was created by a studio called Striking Distance, and the head of the studio, Glenn Schofield, is one of the co-creators of Dead Space. So people were really looking forward to the Callisto Protocol. And the thing is, people are putting, side by side of like before the game released, they were putting out gameplay trailers and footage, and people were comparing like this is 1-for-1 Dead Space. The way the camera angle is, the way the combat looks, the system in which you upgrade stuff and craft weapons. This is pretty much Dead Space, but they sort of like, no, it's not a 1-to-1 of Dead Space. It's its own thing, but you can see the flavor of Dead Space is there. So people were really looking forward to it because of that. They were like, oh, maybe this is a spiritual successor to Dead Space. This is something we can look forward to. The game came out December in 2022 to mixed reviews from critics and less than stellar reviews from the gaming public in general. They cited things like boring game design, frustrating combat, basic level design, a bare bones story, flat characters. It was a whole, they weren't kind to it. But then one thing that everybody agreed on was the graphics. They was like, the graphics were brilliant. They were great. So I speak of this because Glenn Schofield, who I just mentioned, who was the co-creator of Dead Space and the head of the studio Striking Distance, has decided to leave the studio, along with the studio's COO and CFO. This is big news because, again, they just released their first game in December, and now the head of the studio is leaving. And the studio has said that Glenn Schofield has decided to pursue new opportunities, and Schofield himself came out to say that this departure is bittersweet, but he knows that the studio is in excellent hands. It's very surprising, to say the least, to have the creator of the studio just get up and leave. But who knows what he will do next? Hopefully, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to create another studio. Hopefully, this change in... Apparently, the studio is going to be helmed by another Dead Space veteran. So, yeah, people can... I'm going to keep my eye on the studio to see what else they've done. They released their last DLC for the game a few months ago, and I think they've stopped development on the game, except for maybe bug fixes here and there. So, yeah, I think they're starting to move on to their next project. So we'll see what they're doing. And the last bit of news I have is Ubisoft. Ubisoft casually announced on the 21st of September, very, very coyly, announced that they are developing The Division 3. Now, The Division 3 is a sequel to The Division 1 and 2. Tom Clancy's The Division 1 and 2, which gained a core group of followers and players who... The first game, I remember when the first game came out, when it was coming out, it promised a lot of things. The gameplay looked too good to be true and stuff like that. The dynamic, the way you could go from PvE straight into PvP, it was crazy. And that, obviously, in the final game, that wasn't true. That didn't happen. It was a lot of failed promises. But in the Division 2, picked up on that and really fixed a lot of the problems of the Division 1, and people were really happy with the direction of the Division 2. So now they announced that the Division 3 is in the works, headed up by Massive Entertainment, which is a Ubisoft studio, I believe. And Massive currently has their hands full. They are working on Star Wars Outlaws, which is set to come out next year, and Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which is set to come out holiday this year, I believe. And it's going to be headed up by Julian Garrity, who has become the executive producer for the Division franchise. He is currently working as the creative director on Star Wars Outlaws, so he also has his hands full. They pretty much said that this is what Ubisoft said. This announcement, and I quote, "This announcement represents Ubisoft's dedication to the longevity of the brand. In his new role, Julian will drive the many interdependent production elements of the Division brand in a unified direction. This includes development oversight, operations, and creative vision, together with the development teams around the world who are currently developing the mobile game Tom Clancy's The Division Resurgence, Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland, and Tom Clancy's The Division 2. End quote. So the Division 2, they're going to wind down content of that game, I'm assuming, because of they're working on, ramping up. They said they're they are assembling a team in Ubisoft Massive Entertainment to create the Division 3. So yeah, Division fans, this is for you guys. So that is pretty much it for my news.
Oh wait, Holmes, thanks, bro. I was gonna raise something else as well, but I was like, dude, whatever. It'll be rots. Cool, man. Thanks for that. And now moving on to the gaming corner. Yeah, man. What's been released?
Yeah. So let's talk about the releases of the week. We've got a handful of them. So first up, we have a game called Gloomhaven, released on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch, released on September 18th, 2023. We have Lies of P, which is one of the most anticipated games of the year, developed by NeoWiz, a Korean studio. And it is a Souls-like game, and it highly inspired by the Souls-like genre, the Souls-like games. People are comparing it to Bloodborne, and it wears its inspiration on the sleeves. You can see the inspirations and stuff like that. I played the demo. I didn't finish the demo because Souls-like games are not my type of thing, so I just wanted to try it out. I liked what I played, but again, Souls-like games are not my type of games because I'm not good at them. So I would just be banging my head against the wall trying to beat the bosses and the enemies. So, but I've been watching people play it. It's very cool. It's a very interesting concept. It's inspired by the what do I call it? Is it a folktale? The story of Pinocchio. Is it a folktale or is it a...
Yeah, hella folktale, I would say.
The folktale of Pinocchio. It has, Pinocchio has, well, they don't call him Pinocchio, but I call him P. And it has Geppetto and all of those, it has characters that people will be familiar with who know the story. So yeah, Lies of P, released on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and Mac, released on September 19th, 2023, currently sitting at an 80 on Metacritic. Next, we have Mortal Kombat 1, which Maxwell ranted about in the last episode. Was quite the rant, huh, Tommy?
Yo, bruh. But we needed it though, shame.
Yeah, I know we did. So, Mortal Kombat 1, released on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC, released on September 19th, 2023, currently sitting at an 87 on Metacritic. We have a game called You Suck at Parking. Very strong title. Released on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch, released on September 19th, 2023. We have a game that a lot of people have been playing. I've been seeing a lot of people playing it on Twitch. It's called Party Animals. Released on Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC. Released on September 20th, 2023. Currently sitting at a 77 on Metacritic. We have Days of Doom. Released on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Released on September 21st, 2023. We have Payday 3, released on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. Released on September 21st, 2023. Currently sitting at a 70 on Metacritic. And finally, we have Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways DLC. Released on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, and PC. Released on September 21st, 2023. Currently sitting at a whopping 89 on Metacritic. And that is it for the releases of the weekend, the gaming corner.
Oh wait, and then for those of you who like horror, you would have seen that there's a new Chiller's Art game. You can go check Dashi Games YouTube playing it. I'll link it in the description. But Chiller's Art once again has really just look, if you are a female content creator, or if you are a content creator period, actually gender doesn't really matter here, but really go take a look into the game. I know a lot of people, we've actually seen live streams of a lot of streamers who have gone through what actually happens in this game, and obviously the game takes a whole other form of horror to it, so definitely go check it out. I'll probably insert a video, I don't know. Nope. Anyways, thanks Holmes. One thing I actually wanted to mention about the gaming corner you mentioned last week, you mentioned Super Bomberman 2. I obviously, when I was doing the editing and I put the video up for it, this game reminded me of something I played when I was a kid, when I was like very young. Only to find out that it was one of the very old Super Bomberman. I never knew the name of the game, but the moment I saw the graphics and the gameplay, I was like, holy shit, so this was it the entire time. That's flipping nuts. But anyways, thank you, homie. Yeah, guys, we've reached the halfway point of our episode, and we hope you guys are enjoying it so far. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and follow for more if you are enjoying the show. Let us continue into the content creator section. Okay, so I know I've been giving you guys a whole lot about the whole Logan Paul, Nina Agdal, and all this, but where things have now pretty much summed up to, I guess you could say, is so Dillon Danis responds as Logan Paul has now claimed that Dillon Danis had committed a federal crime. So what happened here? All right, so obviously you guys may have remembered Dillon Danis is the person that Logan Paul is set to have a boxing match with, right? And Dillon Danis is a former UFC fighter. And they've just been having a whole lot of, shit talking, now even leading to a whole legal matter into the whole situation. But you guys can go watch the previous episode just to find out more about that. But anyways, where it's now come up to in terms of an update, is that it's looking like the fight on October 14th is not going to happen. Okay, because with Nina Agdal already taking a whole lot of legal action, between her and Dillon Danis, with the restraining order as well. People have been saying that, Dillon Danis hasn't even been showing up to the court hearings. And then also to say that Danis then fired back, at a claim that Logan made, whereby Logan said, Logan posted an Instagram story on September 20th, noting that he had finally watched Face-to-Face. He watched the Face-to-Face back and claimed that there was around 10 minutes of footage missing that he wanted to air. He also claimed that Dillon Danis had requested to be taken out as he had apparently been admitted to a federal crime in there. Now you may be asking, Tams, what is this federal crime? Well, Logan and Dillon recently took part in a head-to-head for Dillon, marking the first time that they've been together since the fight was announced. So they were there in person. Now he's claiming that a lot of it, their meeting, head to head for Dillon, was edited out as a request from Dillon Danis. So Logan Paul called him out on this whole entire thing, and it's because within there, he being Dillon Danis had admitted that he had committed a federal crime once in his life. So definitely go check that out if you guys are keen on that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, then moving on, we have Twitch CEO says that they're open to giving everyone who has been perma-banned on Twitch another chance. Well, not everyone, it's still going to go from a selected list, but this came from a moment whereby Quinn69 was chatting with the Twitch CEO, and this topic actually just, came up for it being a whole thing of at what point will it come to whereby people who have literally served their time and have pretty much lost quite a lot in terms of their revenue to support their families and this, when will they be forgiven? Some people you've seen, they've been banned for years, and rather than going to different platforms, they just completely gave up being a streamer completely, because that is scary. I think I spoke about it last episode with Mizkif leaking his Twitch revenue, when he mentioned that most of their livelihood is dependent on sponsorships and all that. You can't really get those sponsorships if you're not raking up the numbers that they require through your socials, and that being, your live streaming being one of the biggest thing where you pull in pretty much the biggest audience. So Quinn69's thing first stemmed off of Destiny, a streamer pretty well known. I don't know if he's well known now, obviously, since he's fallen off, but he was banned last year in 2022 And most of you may know that Destiny now sits in on a podcast. Well, he sits on a lot of podcasts because, that's the best, I guess, that he can pretty much do. Yeah, so they mentioned that, it's an area that they're looking into, and they just have to figure out who to give, another chance to. So the tricky thing is, which is what they say is they need to be, the whole entire situation needs to be done in a scalable way. So, it gets to a certain point whereby if you're going to let like a few people come back after being permabanned, but then you get that one person who, if you bring them back as being permabanned, they could really do so much for you, for your site as Twitch. But also to say that if a person with very low viewers, someone who's still only like affiliate level, not even partner, has to be brought back, then it's like, okay, but what happens to those partners of Twitch being brought back that caused such big issues back then when they were still streaming? Like they don't want to obviously play into the whole favoritism, like, oh, they're only going to let Twitch partners back, this and this. That's obviously one of the biggest fears. But yeah, we're still to see how that's going to go. We'll see what the Twitch CEO is going to say about that. And that is that's my gaming news. Anything on your side? Not gaming news, content creator news. Anything on your side, Kojo?
Yeah, I just have one thing. I wasn't really going to talk about this, but then it's something that every time this guy pops up, I see it happen. And today I saw the mogul mill guy, as Asmongold likes to call Ludwig, the mogul mill guy. I saw Ludwig and Charlie Moist Critical White speak about this guy, and I'm like, oh, this guy's still a thing. But it looks like the story is winding down. So I'm gonna mention a name. I know Maxwell, we've spoken about this. I've spoken about this with Maxwell before, but I'm not sure if you know this guy, Tommy. He goes by the name Johnny Somali. Have you ever heard of a guy called Johnny Somali?
Is that the dude who got arrested in Japan?
That is the dude that got arrested in Japan, yes.
Okay. I know I know he had a weird surname, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Johnny Somali. His real name is Ismail Ramzi Khalid, but he goes by Johnny Somali. Cool name. Not really.
Porn star name.
Yeah, right. And I don't know if you know what he's been doing over the course of this year, Tommy. Like, have you heard anything about him?
I mean, with him live streaming in Japan and pissing a lot of people off, didn't he get jumped at some point?
He did. So recently he got jumped. I'll work my way up to that, actually. So over the course of this year, he gained notoriety. He streams on Kick. A lot of people are, Kick. People like to say that Kick is a sort of, because the rules are more lax on Kick, people can do whatever they want. This wouldn't fly on Twitch. I'm just saying. Well, not I'm just saying, but people have said that if this guy was doing this on Twitch, he would have been perma-banned a long time ago. But Kick, so he streams on Kick, and he's been in Japan for a while, and he's just been a nuisance in Japan. He's been bothering the locals. He's been racist to them. He's been making fun of. He was on a train, and he was talking to people like, "Hey, do you know Hiroshima and Nagasaki?" Obviously, to the tragic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki during the course of World War II. So he was saying things like, "Hey, do you know Hiroshima and Nagasaki? We're gonna do it again." I believe he said we're going to do it again, things like that. He's just been, he's just been he's done a lot more things, but that's pretty much the gist of what he's done. And as Tommy said, he got jumped by someone who wasn't even Japanese. It's just so, I guess that person was also fed up because he was harassing people on the streets, and he just got laid out he and his cameraman just got laid out by this guy. First, Johnny got hit, and then the cameraman got hit, I believe, or one way or the other.
Oh my god! Okay.
Yeah, dude, it was ridiculous. And Moist Critical showed a video from a different angle where it was showing Johnny Somali and his cameraman getting up from the ground. So it looks like they were, because at first I thought, oh, maybe he just hit the cameras from their hands, but no, it looks like he actually knocked them down. And a lot of people were like, "Hey, I don't condone violence, but this was nice to watch." Blah blah blah. And everybody has been chiming in. Asmongold has been saying, "No, these people should have been detained, arrested a long time ago, and deported." Blah blah blah. But looks like people's wishes are coming true because he has been arrested. And he was arrested because on the 30th of August, 2023, he trespassed onto a hotel construction site. Now, that is dumb for a lot of reasons. One, it's illegal, it's trespassing. And two, it's a construction site. It's dangerous. He's not wearing the proper gear. He's not geared up. He's not taking any safety precautions. He could die. So it was just dumb on his part, but he was arrested. And whilst he was being arrested, he was even live streaming, and it looked like he was happy to be arrested. And he pretty much said that, well, he didn't say anything, but he was just, looks like he was happy to just be arrested. But yeah, that's pretty much it where the story ends up for now. He said that he's not, since then, he has said that he's not going to be speaking to anybody. He's going to remain silent until he gets a lawyer. So we'll keep you guys updated on the story. Yeah, that's it for my content creator news.
Oh yeah, bro. Thanks, man. All right, moving on to the esports. Sad day indeed, but one that we knew was coming for years now. TSM have finally left the LCS, which is the League of Legends Championship Series. And yeah, I mean, the CEO did mention on May 20th of 2023 this year that the organization had taken its first steps towards transitioning to another tier 1 region in the game, League of Legends. They've been working on that for like the past 3 years, and this would essentially be the year that they end their long tenure in the League Championship Series. So you guys can also go check on TSM's Twitter page or X page, whatever flip app. If you scroll all the way to May 20th and just see what they said would be happening and this, you would have never thought, dude, like, you know, it was going to be this year or whatever. It felt like they were going to do like a reboot or something. But I mean, the thought was already there. The seed had already been planted. And obviously it's going to be like a huge blow to the North American League of Legends division, I guess you could call them. Because, I mean, this was announced, you know, right after CLG had now merged with NRG, you know. So now with CLG gone, TSM was just one of the titans that pretty much stood as the only organization that competed in every split of the LCS from its pre-franchise days to its modern era. So this obviously was very tough to hear, because now it's a case of, okay, well, there's probably still going to be an Apex Legends, even though with NRG that we mentioned last week leaving Apex Legends, who knows how long TSM is going to stay in esports as a whole. But yeah, we'll see about that. Yeah, and that's it from me. Kojo, any esports from your side?
Yeah, man. Sticking with more sad news and more departures.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know, right? As of the recording of this episode, September the 22nd, 2023, literally a few hours ago, and I only found this out because I was watching Lulu Lovely on Twitch. If I wasn't watching, I wouldn't have found out about this. 100 Thieves have let go of the entire Apex Legends roster.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? They've let go of their 3 players, Onmu, Scurry, and Vaxlon, as well as their coach 6. So it's... yeah, first, like Tommy said, NRG leaving Apex, now 100 Thieves dropping the entire roster. And I don't know if it's... I'm assuming it has something to do with their poor performance in the ALGS Championships, which happened about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago almost, because they finished stone dead last. They were disqualified in last place, which is not a good look. So I'm assuming this may have had a role in the 800 Thieves just deciding, let's just let go of this team. I don't know if they're going to rebuild the team and get new members, or if they're just going to leave. But this is not a good sign. Hopefully they can rebuild, get some new players, see if that changes anything. But yeah, sad news. I hope Onmu, Scurry, Vaxon, and 6 find new teams or land back on their feet. It's sad stuff. But yeah, that's it for my esports news.
Away, Holmes. Away. All right, moving on to the discussion section. Okay, I don't know if this... okay, it's not really discussion worthy. but it pisses me off. So I don't know if y'all remember how excited I was for Starfield a few episodes back. And then in recent episodes, I've mentioned how some negative comments have been coming out about Starfield. Now, I've had some people, even at work in person, tell me that Starfield is the shit. It's dope. You know, all this and that. Even those of you who are listening, some of you have cracked the game already. And I don't mean cracked the game like figured it out. I mean cracked it as in you didn't buy it at full price. You got it for cheap on a site that, yeah. Anyways, but the one thing that always turns me down about any game, it's never really the reviews. It's never really the content of the game itself. No, it's whether or not my PC can run it. Now, obviously those who have bought the game, you guys would have read what the minimum and recommended system requirements are. I, having not owned the game, have no idea what they were. And now we have finally had someone who summed it all up. And here it is. So the minimum system specs for PC, again, this is for PC. So if you're not a PC person, I mean, you can just fast forward. But anyways, minimum, right? So for your OS, you're going to need Windows 10 version 22H2. Your processor needs to be AMD Ryzen 5 with the 2600 series X or the Intel Core i7 6800K, right? Your memory needs to be 16 gig RAM. Your graphics needs to be a Radeon RX 5700 or an NVIDIA GeForce 1070 Ti. And you need the DirectX version 12. Right, the rest obviously you need an SSD, 125 gig storage, and you just need internet. Now, let's start with the minimum already. I'm going to stop right there with the minimum. I don't even match that already, my nigga. And in the minimum, it's the graphics card that I don't meet. I don't meet that requirement. Minimum. That's fucking wild, bro. That's wild. Moving on to the recommended system. OS needs to be Windows 10 or 11 with up-to-date updates. Your processor needs to be a Ryzen 5 3600X. From a jump from a 2600 to a 36, like, yo, Intel i5 10600K. Okay, your memory 16 gig RAM. Now, mind you, my RAM is 32. Okay, graphics card, you need an Radeon RX 6800 XT. Or an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2080. Again, I don't meet that. And DirectX, and yeah, everything else is the same. So I'm failing in the graphics card and processor part, bro. Like, it's fuck. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's every single day I keep thinking to myself, the step towards moving to console is sounding more and more lucrative by the day, my guy, by the day. But I love Tarkov. You know, I love games like Tarkov. I love Baldur's Gate. I'm literally just naming the two games I play. Oh, PUBG and League. That's it. But anyways, yeah, again, not a discussion, just something I thought I should mention why I'm going to be so flippin' sad that I have to now actually get an Xbox. I know some of you are like, oh, just get a PC upgrade. Let me tell you, the amount I can get for an Xbox is the same amount I can get for a graphics card. One component, I still have to upgrade more components. No, rather just get a console, to be honest. But yeah, that is my discussion, I guess. Kojo, do you have anything to discuss?
Nothing to discuss, but yeah, I agree with you, man. Like, PC gaming is expensive, man.
Yo, dude, honestly, fucking hell.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, do you want to handle the news blitz or do you want me to run through it?
I have nothing on the news blitz. So
I bet. Let me do my best. Okay, so heading into the news blitz. Payday 3 reviews have said that the game is half-baked, as it is a step down from Payday 2 and the shooter needs more time in the oven. Moving on, we also have, okay, you already mentioned the Johnny Somali, so I'm going to skip that. Let's see. Okay. Well, yeah, that is the fastest news blitz I have for you guys, because everything else here on this thing is not really, it's not really gaming related. Like, they're talking about movies and this shit, bro. But anyways, yeah, that's the news blitz. Okay, and well, yeah, that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you all for joining us. If you did like, please leave a like, subscribe, and follow for more. We post every single week. And yeah, this was episode 35 of the weekly patch notes, brought to you by Thamziri and Kid Kojo of X to Skip podcast. And we will check you guys next week. Stay healthy, stay gaming, and keep playing. Peace out.